And we are live. Welcome to Cup of Tea and Case Studies for this new edition of what are we doing today? We're looking at how to pass the exams and get a grade 7 to 9. Okay, great to see you guys. Thanks for joining us in the chat. I think some people have been waiting like 45 minutes, 50 minutes. Absolutely awesome. Well respected if you've been in the chat that long. Let's just see who is in the chat. Hit us up in the comments, say hello, see who's there. And who's revising with us this evening. Hello to the mods. Thanks, mod, for being with us today. Appreciate that. Super duper duper. Killer Monkey. Ooh, I like your logo there. I hope I pronounced your name right there as well. Yeah, really cool little emoji. That's pretty cool. Yeah, if you want to know how to pass this year's geography exams, you are in the right place. We're going to look at all the secrets and the tips and the tricks that maybe your teachers perhaps don't tell you. Tonight is well, we're going to look at those. Hi, James. Good to see you, James. Always in the chat. You're like a regular. In fact, lots of regulars in. Hi. Arson's in the chat. Good to see you. And so is Laura. You are a little star as well, Laura. Always here joining us on the live stream. Why is it not showing your comment? There you go. Hide that one. There you go. There we are. Good to see you, Laura. And Amna, lovely to see you. You're always with us as well. How's the cat getting on? I love the cat picture. That is brilliant. Sorry, I'm still in my work stuff because I've not managed to get myself sorted out yet. Just literally got home from work. It's been busy day. No, not as busy as some people's days here. Hello, Hermes. Thanks for joining us as well. Appreciate that. I've got my cup of tea and everything. Yeah, let us know what you've got in store tonight to get you through today's revision. Any treats? Anything nice? Mine's looking particularly good. Let me just show you what's going on over here. I've not had my tea yet either, so this is going to be a bit crazy. But here we go. Let me just try and share that with you. How are we getting on there? Here you go. So that's mine. I've got chocolate biscuits, Maltesers, and a chocolate muffin. And I don't think I'm going to be able to eat all that, am I, really? But we'll see how we get on. It's a nice little selection to get me through the evening. Yeah, what have you got? Oh, obviously, and the cup of tea as well. Got to have a cup of tea to get you through the revision. And these things just keep you going. I know they've got a lot of Year 11s watching tonight. And yeah, this is get you through it, won't it? Get you through your revision. If you have joined us and you are in Year 11, how did your English exams go today? Hopefully they went well. Let us know in the chat if you're happy with your English literature. That was today. I know it was today. Let's just go back to that one for a minute. There we go. Yeah, how did you get on with the English literature? And also, how did you manage to see the Northern Lights on Friday? Yeah, that was pretty spectacular. I've never seen that. And I'm a ripe old age. So if you managed to see the Northern Lights, yeah, what a spectacular show that was on Friday night. Let us know if you saw that as well. Yeah, pretty impressive. So can I have some? No, is the answer to that. Fortunately not. And I'm not bringing it into school either. So it's not happening. James, flapjack, good choice. Flapjack's one of my favourite things to eat. I love a flapjack, especially if it's chocolate coated. And mineral water, very healthy. Yeah, I've got my cup of tea. Stonebridge told us you got to see it. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I'll show you some pictures actually when in lesson. I'll try and show you some pictures as well. I missed it by 2 minutes. It was on for about an hour. So yeah. Between 12:15 and 1:45, something like that in the morning. It was the early hours. I have a cupcake. That is a winner. Cupcake, fair play. So all of you guys, I know you're very busy with your exams and getting ready for the exams. You've got to keep that positive mindset. You are going to do well this summer, but all about the preparation. So today we're going to go over just some few things that will help you, mainly at GCSE, but possibly A-level as well. Some little strategies, okay? So I think it's time to get started, isn't it? I think tonight's edition is going to be a little bit shorter just because we're going through techniques rather than case studies. So I think it'd be a little bit shorter. but also we should be able to get off and revise as well, other subjects that you might be revising. So let's get cracking then. Here we go, add to stage. There we go. So here's our piece of paper. So we're going to go through all the key things that you need to know to pass paper 1 AQA GCSE Geography. Okay. That's coming up on the 17th of May. So that's going to be the title for today's cup of tea and case studies. It's going to be paper 1. My favorite, physical geography. Does it get any better than this? Physical geography, paper 1. Now, some of the tips that I'm going to go through today will help at A-level as well. Some of them. I'll tell you which ones will. Which is Friday. This Friday coming, the 17th of May. And it's in the afternoon. Who doesn't love a Friday afternoon? There we go. Smiley face. Friday afternoons. Absolutely perfect for it. There we go. So, Friday the 17th in the afternoon is what we're going to go with here. So let's have a little look at the structure of the paper. I'm going to draw a little table for this one. Now, I know obviously revising for your exam is really important, revising the knowledge, but revising this stuff as well, the little tricks and tips of how to get through the exam is just as important. So let's just have a quick look at the breakdown of the exam. Here we go. So Friday afternoon. You'll be entering the exam hall approximately 1 p.m. and the exam itself is 1 hour and 30 minutes. Let's maybe bob that up here. Yeah. So the exam is 1 hour, 30 minutes long. Okay. And it will start at roughly 1 p.m. depending on which school you're at. Roughly 1 p.m. is the official start time across the country. I love how everybody does the same exam at the same time. It's pretty good. So the exam papers broke up into 4 sections. So we're just going to draw our little table. Hopefully you've got a ruler here. So let's just talk about how it's structured. We know it's 1 hour, 30 minutes. It starts at 1 p.m. Let's try and get that a bit square for you. There we go. So question 1. In fact, let's put it in the chat, guys. What are the 4 sections of the GCSE Paper 1 for Geography, AQA? See if we know the first 4 question sections. Bit of revision. So we'll have some audience participation here. So here's up in the chat. What are the 4 question sections for GCSE AQA Geography? Anybody know? Alex is in. Nice one, Alex. Let's get him on. There we go. Nice one, Alex. Glad you could join us for a bit of GCSE Geography revision. We're revising the exam technique tonight. So, yeah, we've just started. There you go. That's what we've got so far. So, any ideas? No one's putting in the chat anymore. Okay, right. So, question 1. Let's just zoom in on this one. I agree. I agree, moderator. Come on, guys. The exam's on Friday. You should know how it's structured. Right. Question 1 is natural hazards. Natural hazards. Let's draw a little volcano there. There we go. That's my natural hazard. Question 2. Still no one's going with this. It is living world. Living world. And you can either do hot or cold deserts. Just be careful which one you just ask your teacher which one you do. But we do hot deserts at my school. So hot deserts is the one. So just to remind ourselves here, we're going to draw a little cactus. There we go. Remember, guys, keep your revision fun. I don't know about love, but I enjoy doing visual revision like this. I do quite enjoy doing this. There we go. There's my volcano. So question 2 is living world and hot deserts. Question 3 is UK coasts. That's your coastal processors. Remember, guys, hit the comments up, hit the like button as well. Hit the like button; it really does help the channel. There we go. So, question 2 is coasts, and then question 3 is coasts. Question 4 is UK rivers. Wow, I love these 2 final sections of the exam. There we go. Let's put a little river in. There we go. All physical geography, all natural topics, physical processes and things like that. So there we go. So let's have a little look then. Question 1, natural hazards. You've got 30 minutes on that section. You have to be really strict with your time. Keep an eye on the clock. So if your exam starts at 1, by 1:30, you should have finished your natural hazards. You have 30 minutes on living world. That's tropical rainforests and hot or cold deserts. Again, keep an eye on the time. The first hour should be, you should have just finished question 2. Question 3, 15 minutes on question 3. And 15 minutes on question 4, UK rivers. So half an hour combined on those. Make sure you leave enough time for the final 2 sections. Okay. In terms of maximum marks, natural hazards is a 9 marker. So you've got a 9 marker in there, plus 3 for SPAG. Spelling, punctuation, and grammar. The biggest question in the whole of the exam paper is in question 1. 9 marker plus 3, so that gives you 12 marks. There's a 12 marker there. Okay. In question 2, living world, you've got a 9 marker as well. And then for the next 2, the largest tariff question you will have is a 6 marker and a 6 marker. So there you go. 6 markers for those last 2 sections. Now, just as a little rule, they say it should take you how long? Let's ask the chat. How long should it take you to answer a 6-mark question? How long should it take you to answer a 6-mark question? Let's see who's first to answer. How long should it take to answer a 6-mark question? Answers in the chat. And the first correct answer is James. Well done. 6 minutes. Correct. Well done. So it's 1 mark per minute. 1 minute for 1 mark. Okay. So that gives you a little bit of a guide. All right. So there you go. That's the key layout of the exam. That's what you'll be doing. Make sure you keep an eye on the timings. They're the questions, and the biggest marks are in the first 2 sections, just to keep an eye on the time with those. Right, let's have a look at some strategies then, some top tips. Let's just go down here. Strategies to impress. Yeah, your examiner. So these are definitely ones over the years that I've been teaching this. These are all the little tricks that the examiner likes to see, okay, in your piece of work. So strategies to impress the examiner. There we go. Right, we're going to start with the first one, which is the bug. Now, you should always bug your question. So they say. Just drawing a bug. There we go. It's going to be a little green beetle. There's his little eyes. There we go. They wanted to draw a ladybird. Let's go with a little green beetle. So you should always bug the question. Okay. This is really important. Bugging the question helps you to read the question really carefully. This is not just for your GCSE geography exam. It's also for any other exams. Really useful. So What does bug stand for? In the chat, guys, hit us up. What does bug stand for? What does the B stand for? What does the U stand for? And what does the G stand for? Yeah, who can tell us? So when you got a question, you're supposed to bug the question. What does that mean? Anybody? Let's have a Malteser whilst I'm waiting. Well, it's all very quiet, so let's just do it. B is box, the command word. So that could be something like describe. Yeah, that's a command word. Assess, evaluate. Oh, we're getting some answers here. U, underline. Underline keywords. So this is obviously applies to A-level as well as GCSE. So if you're an A-level student, you can also rely to that. And G is glance at the marks. Okay, so that basically means have a little look at the marks, see what the marks are showing. That helps you with the structure, which we're going to talk about in a short moment. Okay, so bug the question is a really good strategy. Okay, right, let's have a look at some other strategies. Explain everything. So you should always explain your points. Now, this is really important for grades 4 and above. Okay, you should always really develop your thinking and explain what you mean. So explain your points. And we've got 3 magic sentences that we should always use to develop our explanations. Okay, so does anybody know any of our magic sentences that help us develop our explanations to that next level? What are our, there's 3 of them, guys. Again, hit me up in the chat. 3 explanations, sentences we use to explain. So what is a phrase? Yeah. So what is a phrase? Absolutely. So what? Yeah. What? Okay, our first one is this means that. Yeah. So if you say something like, oh, the area on the photograph has been flooded and the houses are flooded, this means that residents would have to evacuate and move to temporary accommodation. There you go. You developed your point, you've explained it a little bit further, you'll get an extra mark. This is because is another little phrase. Yeah, you might be in the sense of the linking to flooding. This is because the area was made of impermeable, is formed from impermeable geology, and therefore the water's unable to infiltrate the rocks and runs off as surface runoff. So this is because, and this leads to. Now, these 3 sentences are fantastic at making you explain a little bit further and trying to get those higher grades. So really, really good to try and remember those. This means that, this is because, this leads to. Now, this next one, often used in a geography exam, and I think in English, which is to P. P, E, E, E. A big P. Let's just draw a bit of a pea puddle there again. You've got to P. Now, I know English, there's your yellow P. I know in English you P. Every time you write a paragraph, each paragraph has to have a P. So this can be used to structure each paragraph, okay? In fact, we'll put that here. Structure each paragraph. You can always use P. So if you've got 2 or 3 paragraphs, you would go through this process 2 or 3 times. If you've got 2 paragraphs, you go for it twice. 3 paragraphs, go for it 3 times. So what does P stand for? I've made it a bit longer because we've got 3 E's instead of just 2 for geography. What does P stand for? Hit us up in the chat, guys. P. If you've got a P paragraph, what's that mean? So the first thing you should do is first P is to make a point. Say something. Yeah, make a point or say something about the answer. Whatever the question is, make a point about it. Make a straightforward point. Okay. The mod's getting closer. Mod, you are smashing it tonight. I appreciate this. Yeah, make a point. E is to explain your point. Okay. So you might explain your point. You might use this means that. Okay, this means that. The second E is to explain even further. Explain further. Maybe using this leads to. So you've developed that point twice. Some people might even develop it a 3rd time, really go into detail. So you're very clear with the examiner what your thinking is. So make your point, explain it once, explain it again. Okay. Just develop on it. Okay. So when you put your full stop, think, so what? I'm going to tell them why this is such an important point. And I'm going to tell them again why it's such an important point with a different reason. So explaining your points here. The last thing to do in geography is to give evidence or an example of a place. For example, this is happening here, e.g., this is happening here, or this is the name of a famous feature. And then in each paragraph, if you're naming a place or a feature, you're really going to push yourself up those grade levels. So point, explain further, and give an example of a place. Really good tips for writing. So they're kind of your writing tips. Yeah. Link to that. We're going to go over this side now, up the top here, and look at the different types of questions, okay, that we might get. So we're going to look at the main areas. So the first one is multiple choice and single points. Yeah. So in your exam, you get multiple choice questions. Make sure you colour the box, not the box in, but the actual circle. Make sure to choose the right answer. You colour your circle in, okay? You don't want them thinking you've got the wrong answer. So for multiple choice, that's how you would do it, okay? So we're going to put correct method for multiple choice. Yeah, colour in that circle, that oval. That's how you do it, okay? For 2 markers, so 2 markers, usually single markers might be multiple choice. You then get a few 2-mark questions. Which are, so it's usually 2 separate points. So you could say 2 separate things, what we call a 1 and 1. So you've made 2 separate points. Or you might say 1 point plus 1 explanation. So that's how you would get your 1 plus 1. So for 2-mark questions, you might say 2 separate points, 2 ideas, or you might say 1 point and then it's explained. Sometimes in the question, guys, just be careful. It'll say discuss, or maybe just describe 1, whatever. Okay. And if it says 1, you can only explain 1. Okay. Don't try and do 2. So 2 markers, 2 separate points, or 1 point plus 1 explanation. Right. Now, 4 markers. So hit us up in the chat, guys. What do you need to include for a 4-mark question? There are things to include. What do you need to include in a 4-mark question? And we'll just put some ideas around. So if it's 4 marks, what's the checklist? Excellent. Really good technique. So 2 points plus 2 explanations. Yeah. So that might be 2 paragraphs. 1 paragraph with 1 point and 1 explanation. Maybe you've used your P. Yeah, use your P. Go through your P twice. Okay. Maybe go PEE times 2. Yeah. That would be a brilliant strategy for a 4-mark question. Okay. Good. What else have we got there then? Anything else? Right, we'll go through these then. So often 4 markers might have a figure. They might have a graph, a map, and a photograph. So you should use the figure. Figure shows whatever number it is, or states. Figure 2 states or figure 2 shows. Okay. Let's just zoom you in, guys, so you can see. There we go. Focus you in a bit. So there we are. Figure whatever states or figure something shows, because often you've got a figure as well. You might name a place. Name a place would be a really good thing to do. Always try and name places. That's my little smiley face. Always good to name places. Good. It should take you 4 minutes roughly to complete, because it's a mark per minute. So name a place, 4 minutes, 2 points, 2 explanations. Use the figure. You might also here explain your points. Yeah, using something like this means that. That is the main phrase, guys, that's going to get you into that grade 4 and above. This means that this will happen. It's a really key phrase. As well as learning your geography, just remember these little tricks and tips, and then that will really help as well. So this means that, oh, you're going out of focus. This means that, this leads to, this is because, okay? Name a place, 4 minutes, explain your points, use the figure. Okay, let's drop down into 6 markers then. So 6 markers is the, let's have a look what is different from a 4 to a 6. Okay. So what is the difference between a 4 and a 6 marker, guys? What's the difference? There are a couple of additions. What is the difference? Hit us up in the chat. 6 mark questions. What do you need to include in a 6 marker? Okay, so we've got, so this one is 3 points. So remember, for geography, you always half the marks, 3 points plus 3 explanations. You can get away with 2 as long as they're really well developed. And you've probably got 3 paragraphs because you've gone through P 3 times. Point, explain it further, name a place, and then move on. Speaking of name places, you also need to here have a case study or a place that you've probably mentioned. Again, name a place in your 6 marker. And it's probably going to take you about 7 minutes, this one. Okay. It's going to take you about 7 minutes to, to do that one. So about 7 minutes there. Fantastic. So there we go. So that's your 6 marker. Right, let's move on to our 9 markers then. So here is our 9 markers. So hit us up in the chat, guys. What do you need to do for a 9 mark exam answer? What are the features of a 9 marker? Thanks, Mod. Yeah, can we let us know what you need to do for a 9 mark exam answer? Superb. Okay. So for a 9 marker, guys, the additions are, you would definitely need a conclusion. So you need a conclusion for a 9 marker. So at the end, it should say something like, in conclusion. It's a great little phrase. In conclusion, or in summary. In summary. There we go. In conclusion or in summary. That's a really key thing for 9 mark answers. There we go. You should also have, in addition to what's above, you should also have, again, a case study. So 9 markers should always include a case study or reference to a case study. So definitely have your case study in there. And you've got your 3 points, again, maybe 3 or 4. 3 points plus 3 explanations. There we go. And this one should also have an opinion or a judgment. You give a thought to the question. What do you think? Give an opinion, give a judgment. Is always a great thing to do in a 9 marker. Might be whether it's sustainable, whether what your thoughts or opinions on it are. Whether you think it's positive or negative. Yeah. And we're going to talk about opinions in a minute, because we're going to have a little scale for what you can talk about using opinions. In fact, we'll drop down to do that now. So there's our 9 marker. Zoom out a little bit. So on this opinion section, we're going to have our ways to give opinions. Here's our little thermometer. Yeah, that's a thermometer, guys. So to give our viewpoints. How much we agree with something or disagree. So if you really agree, you might say to a significant extent. So I agree to a significant extent that something is sustainable. So if you're really positive about it, whatever it is you're looking at, investigating, you might say to a significant extent. Then you might say, oh, I agree. This is the agreement scale, basically. I agree to some extent. So this would be agree at the top. And obviously disagree at the bottom. There we go. So you might say, I agree to a significant extent. I agree to some extent. Maybe you somewhat agree. Not with all of it, not entirely. Again, this is good for A level as well. I somewhat agree. And maybe down at the bottom, you've got disagree. I significantly disagree. To some extent, I disagree. Or you may have to a lesser extent. So you can use these little powerful phrases to give your opinion on a particular geographical issue. And one of the things that we always link these opinions to often is the key one, which is sustainability. Yeah, often in geography, sustainability is what we measure most things against. Okay. And sustainability is about meeting the needs of the present without compromising future generations to meet their own needs. Okay, so sustainability, does it meet the needs of the present and future generations? That's what you got to ask yourself the question. Whatever the question is talking about, is it going to work now, and is it going to work in the future? Okay, to a significant extent, I agree that it will, or somewhat extent. So these like opinions is what's going to get you into that grade 7 to 9 when you start to make a judgment, link it to sustainability. Okay. You also might link this as well to things like scale. Yeah. So you might link it to the scale of the issue. Scale of issue as well is another good way of judging something. So if it's talking about deforestation, to what extent, how large an area is it talking about in terms of impacts? Yeah. So again, if you're judging something, the larger the scale, that could make a decision to whether you agree or disagree with it. Okay. But sustainability and scale is a really important one, guys. Yeah, really important. Right, I'm going to give you some really good paragraph starters down here. Yeah, here we go. So I'm just going to do it as a big speech bubble. So these are going to be our paragraph starters. So great ways to start a new paragraph if you're going for the higher grades. Again, this works really well. Oh, hi Jay, nice to see you. Thanks for joining us for a little bit of revision tonight. Glad you could join us and listen in. So if you're starting a paragraph, these are great ways to start your paragraphs at the higher grades. However, I don't agree. However, yeah, this is happening. However, in some places, this might be happening. On one hand, on the other, I can't fit that one in. On the other hand, yeah, on the other hand. On one hand, this is happening. On the other hand, this is happening. Furthermore is a great way to start a paragraph if you want to develop that point even further. In contrast, well, this is happening in one place, but in contrast, something completely different is happening in another place. In contrast, whereas, great way to start a paragraph as well. Whereas, and firstly, secondly, so you have paragraphs. Firstly, I want to talk about this. Then secondly, I want to talk about this. There you go. So great ways to get your paragraphs up and running. So the last little bit is for the center, which is here. And here we're going to talk about one other strategy when you get a source. Okay, if you get a graph, a map, which you will, or a picture. So whenever you're given a graph, a map, or a picture, we think of T. Yeah, T. Now, who knows what T stands for? Hit us up in the chat, guys. We have quite a few of you in the chat. What do we mean by T? After this channel's called Cup of Tea and Cases, isn't it? There we go. There's our cup of tea. So you use this for looking at graphs in particular, or writing about graphs. So if you're asked to describe something like a graph or a map, yeah, we use our T to describe. Oh, here we go. There we go. Superb. So if you're given a graph or a map, so this is for things like graphs, maps, and photos. Yeah, we use T. So T stands for trends, which could be highest, lowest data on the map or the graph, highest, lowest, increasing, fluctuating. If it's going up and down, if your graph is going up and down, it's fluctuating. So there are your kind of trend words: increasing rapidly, increasing slowly, decreasing, increasing, decreasing. E is evidence. So this is to name places and use the data. So name places and use the data off the source. So if it says, I don't know, if that's February might be 10 millimeters of rainfall. So using your data, picking off your data to write a sentence. And then A is anomalies, and the higher grades should always look out for anomalies. Unusual data. Unusual data to talk about. Oh, well, this one here, this country here is unusual. It's not all the other countries around it are a certain number or a certain scale, whereas this one here is different. So trying to look for different ones, or maybe the whole graph is increasing apart from one point where it dips. That would be an anomaly. So something that goes against the general pattern. Unusual data, unusual patterns in data as well. Yeah. So unusual data. These are the ones that get you the higher grades. The anomalies, they're usually there to be spotted. A lot of geographers might miss them. Can you find them? Can you find the anomalies where the data is? So, wow, hey guys, let's have a look at that then. Let me just zoom out a little bit further. Get it all in. Are we all in? Pretty much. Nearly. Right, I think we're all in that. Let's get it on focus. So there you have it. Some top tips to get you ready for Paper 1 GCSE Geography on the 17th of May. From the structure, all these kind of writing tips, how to analyze the graphs, each of the type of the questions, and then how to evaluate and use kind of evaluative paragraphs and language. So well done, guys. That is just as important to try and revise and learn as it is the actual knowledge and the case studies and things like that. But yeah, really pleased with that. Really pleased. How's yours turned out? Let us know how it's turned out in the chat. Does it look good? I'm pretty happy with mine. Managed to get a hell of a lot of stuff on there. Oh, that just needs a question mark there. Does it meet the needs of the future and the present? Yeah, so let us know how you've got on. Don't forget to hit that like button. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button as well. Let's just go back to, that's it. Yeah, hit the subscribe button and click the share button to share it with other people around the country who might be preparing for the geography exam for this Friday. Now, actually, it's quite good. Couldn't fit it all in. I had to go on the back. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, don't worry if you had to go on the back. As long as you got your key points there, that is fantastic. Thanks to our moderators. You were awesome tonight, as always. I really do appreciate you giving up your evening to mod the chat. So we are going to wrap it up there, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. As I say, hit that like button and subscribe. And we will see you next Monday for another cup of tea and case studies. Take care. Enjoy your evening, guys. Thank you very much to everybody who managed to make it. Thank you. You're more than welcome. Thanks, Jay. Thanks, James. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. And yeah, have a good evening. Take care. All the best. Bye-bye.